The Albanese government trying to navigate the diplomacy around the Middle East. It's a crucial moment ahead of the United Nations General Assembly in September.
It is. And I think it's a moment where Anthony Albanese sees him and the Australian government having a role to play in trying to ensure that we get an outcome, at least in the longer term, that is going to avoid the sorts of horrors that we're seeing playing out in Gaza right now and the monstrous sort of nature of that occupation of Gaza and what's happening.
The Trump tariffs on India, how concerned are you about the impact of such a move on groups like the Quad? Does this also benefit China?
Well, potentially. I mean, if anything that drives a major emerging power like India away from the Western sphere is not good for our part of the world. But it doesn't mean necessarily that that's going to play out in the way in which they're saying it will. And India has always had a rather sort of a bifurcated position when it comes to the West and to China, but particularly to Russia, where they've had strong relationships in the past. So again, it's all part of this crazy mix that's going on at the moment and trying to get some sense of where it's all going to land. And, I don't think anyone really knows what is going to be the upshot of everything that's happening around tariffs. Is it going to mean more inflation? Is it going to actually mean that America will be able to get its economy more under control, but at what cost to the rest of the world? All those things are still to be determined. And so we just have to wait and watch but look after our own backyard. And I think that's what Albanese and his team are doing. Everything is done through the eyes of how does this play out for Australia, and we will always put the Australian interest first. And I think they've demonstrated a fair bit of guts when it comes to that compared to some nations who look to roll over pretty quickly when a bullying sort of attitude comes out of the United States.
Finally, look, there's been a few egos in leadership roles around the world in the past. Right at the moment, it is quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, it's a crowded stage up there, but of course it also is a reflection of the way in which politics is played out through social media as well, the bypassing of the conventional media, going straight to your audiences, getting them whipped up. If you look to the United States, Russia, China, all through South America, you're getting these strong men, and they are all men, I think, characters who are driving this very aggressive form of unilateralism and nationalism in their politics. It's not a good thing. And when you see what happened in the 1930s in the world, you have to think, are we going down a path which could lead to a pretty major conflagration in the next few years?
Yeah, they are interesting times. You've been around a little while.
Yeah, well,
in the nicest possible way.
Indeed, and you see a lot of history being rewritten all the time. We hear, for example, about the 1960s. We're talking about the space race being a great time of peace and love and goodwill, but that was a time of terrible violence and injustice in the United States and other countries. But we tend to gloss over that.
Yeah.
And there is always a tendency after we get through these difficult periods to gloss over them and to make them out to be just a lot easier than they really were. This is a very difficult period in world history.
Yeah. I should have said we've both been around for a while.
Oh, you're just a young fellow, mate.
I don't know about that. Good to see you, Bruce.
Thanks, Tim.